Good evening. We're taking another look at Gelvin Valley. I'm really dragging you guys along with me for this entire harvest, I'm afraid. I don't even know if it's halfway done yet. It's got to be getting close. Now here we have another field that's kind of close to the edge. Yeah, that's maybe a little close to the edge. Whoa. There's kind of a treescape on its side down there. I kind of wonder if maybe it was intended to stand up against the edge. Yeah, not sure about that one. But, you see here some of the technique that some of these mappers use sometimes to disguise the edge a little bit. Not that you can really ultimately hide it. But they will take, just because the terrain is limited to the map, in terms of where we can like drive this combine or something else. Just because we're a little bit limited there doesn't mean you're limited in where you put objects. So a lot of those can be stacked off the edge of the map, and since the AR is static and just kind of hang there, that works. And yeah, I don't know if it's effective here. Maybe it is in showing, the map area kind of moving on. Or a lot of times they'll take something like a road and, oops, our combine's having trouble here. Always gotta supervise the outer round for some reason. So sometimes the map authors will make their objects extend beyond the edge just to make it look as if the world continues on, which it does in real life. But those trees actually look a little bit different than the regular trees. They almost look like just the load objects. And my understanding of a load object is, you look at this tree that the combine is going by. Right there, it's a hard object. We could get out there and cut it down. We could run into it with the machine or that kind of thing. A load object is what the game sees like at a distance. It costs computing power to render hard objects. I think it takes a lot more to render versus if it's a hollow object or not a hard object, one you can just drive through or that kind of thing. So it appears what Wes did on the end of the map over there by putting some trees in there is he used load objects, which means, if you could walk out there, you wouldn't be able to cut those trees down. They're just for visible effects and kind of at the edge of the map. That's all you need to kind of help suspend reality. It's one of those things, a lot of times in making a map, there's, well, we'll see if he likes this hill. Oh, he's going to stick his pipe probably right into the hill. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yes he did. Good thing there's no collisions. But a lot of times you'll see with mods there'll be a discussion on performance. And the performance a lot of times is can you maintain 60 frames per second still? Incidentally, I wonder what mine is. Oh, it's 44. I don't have that powerful of a computer. But plus, I also beefed up the view distance in here so we could see more, so it would look a little better. It appears like it's going to handle it. But a lot of maps, the map author themselves will tell people you need a more powerful gaming rig to run it, and it's generally true. They might have loads of hard objects, with how they've set things up, and you may need a powerful machine, but sometimes it's because they haven't done as much work in, what is called optimizing the map. And optimization is making sure your view distances, your what are called clip distances, are under control. And a clip distance is how soon, looking out, a particular object you stop seeing it. So in other words, if you have an object with a clip distance of 10 meters, once you're 10 meters away from it, you can no longer see it. And the game engine doesn't have to render it so the player sees it. And, if you have a lot of objects in a map with massive clip distances, that means clear across the map you can still see them, and you're forcing your game engine to work all the harder to render that stuff. So there's a lot of work a map modder can do to help enhance the performance of the map, but only a few, I would say, are really, really good at it. Let's be honest, part of the fun of making a map is laying out the fields and all that kind of thing. And optimization is pretty boring and tedious work. Looking up objects, looking at different angles and saying what is over in the distance that I don't need to see, and then fixing it. And it's kind of turns a hobby of fun into a whole lot of work, but it can be really helpful to the player, such as me. I don't have a very powerful rig to make the gaming experience more enjoyable, because you can try to put in I am tapped out at 11 miles an hour. I'm not sure why. That makes me wonder if I'm popping an error. Well, there's maybe a couple of errors, but I don't see one. Well, this is bizarre. I'm not even really damaged. I look at the damage mod statistics, and I've had this tractor more damage before, and it... It's as if something is limiting it. Not sure what. I'll kind of see what happens here as I head down the hill. There we go. Well, shoot. Maybe it was just pulling a heavy load. Maybe that was more of a hill back there than what I realized. There's I think there's a shop up on top of this hill. I gotta be careful to go in the right road. Yeah, I don't want to go in the Sawmill Road. It's the next one up. My goodness. I'm sorry, that doesn't look like a hill at all. Well, now it's coming up a little bit. It just doesn't want to budge. Well, that's interesting. When I push... Well, it's fascinating. Of course, now it's going up a little bit of a hill, but when I push forward, it doesn't... But when I put it on cruise control... Maybe that's the trick here. Huh. For whatever reason, when you put it on cruise control, it goes normal speed. But when I push it forward, just under driving, it doesn't want to move. It must be some mod quirk or whatever that I didn't know about. I haven't noticed that before. I don't think in these videos I've taken anybody up this hill yet. It's just beautiful up here, how the mapper put this together. I mean, look at this detail. It even has a walking trail over here. I guess if you get tired of playing the game and want to go on a country stroll, that hill over on the other side of this ravine is has a radio tower up on top and has some free grass. So the map author says, you know, recognizing people are going to be short of money, but well, you got to work hard for it up there, and it's steeper than all get out. Done farming. No, we're not done farming. Something's amiss there. That little sign is tipped over. Now, this area just to the right, I believe if you ever have to reset your vehicle, if you get stuck in a ditch or whatever, it'll show up back at that place. And I believe it charges a fee too, so there isn't any of this reset to the farm or anything like that. I'm trying to remember which sell point this is. It's not A&A Stables. I think it's a farm shop. Is that what it is? Yeah, which has a similar pricing scheme to pheasant pluckers. So, and you know, I didn't set up a course on this one. I maybe should have. But the fields over here, the ones that we'll be harvesting, are actually pretty small. So there'll be some movement between the fields that needs to be done, and so some of these is just as easy to zip on up here and empty it myself. Yeah, those must be warning signs that there's a hill. That is quite a vista. With armies, you know. Across the way is kind of the home place. That little flat field that isn't harvested, we'll be harvesting later. And then the large one to the right of it, we'll see as we go around the corner here, up on that hillside, and the one beyond it, we still need to harvest those too. Those are part of the farm. Whoa. Try to remember to remain on the left side of the road when in Rome. Do as the Romans do. We'll go up this road a little bit later. There's a new field I have up there. It's decent sized. That's part of the reason I'm so far into the hole. Oh, let's see if I can pass it. I think we got this. There may be a way to get... Now he's probably going to come up my tailpipe because I'm slowing down and bogging down on the hill. But the cars were really, really slow in FS15. I think they could be improved a little bit. Maybe in the scripting. I've never tinkered with it. I think the thing I'd really like to do with the graphics sometime is render them only and not as hard to Object X. I probably didn't say that right, but basically allow you to drive straight through them so that they're there and you see them, but they don't get in your way, especially on a map like this. Back at the field, and where? Aha, he's hiding out in the corner. Let me get him a little bit off the road here. Sure is hard to get good hired help. just requires a ton of supervision on these outer rounds. This is one of our smaller fields, just a little rectangle here. I tend to like the larger fields, unless they're a field that has a lot of character, you know, nooks and crannies or whatever, then I don't mind a smaller field so much. But this one's a rectangle, so not as much character as some of the small fields on this map. At least we get to see the hillside in action. And over there, I mean, this field is right next door to the bio plant, if you will, or the BGA, whatever that's called. I was going to look that up in the map to see kind of what we received from that. As I recall correctly from trying the map much earlier, you don't earn near as much. I think you can make a fortune on most maps if you kept the BGA fed with silage. Well, I don't think that's the case on this one here. I think it's depressed by quite a bit, though I don't remember by how much. Well, since I'm wondering, I'm just going to go find out. Let's hop out of there real quick. This is the map, so we'll just pull that up. Take a look-see. Yeah, it's probably really bogging the game down now if I'm opening the map at the same time. Oh, there we go. Now it looks like I'm on +1. I'm going to move that up so I don't have to work too hard and move it. I think this is the field we're in. This one right over here, this little rectangle. There's a BGA. I'm guessing you haul it in and dump it off in here. Oh yeah, look at that. So actually, oh, maybe that isn't the BGA sell point at all. It's a place to take. Yeah, this is a place to dump off grass or sell it. You can sell it loose. And yeah, the prices are held way back in here. But maybe there's a second tip trigger. I wonder where that one is. Ah, same exact place. Oh, interesting. Also for the same things. Huh. Silage catcher? Hmm. Is that a... No, it isn't a trigger. It must just be... Oh, interesting. Well, it's a biogas facility. Oops. All this time I thought it was a BGA. Well, I guess I was wrong. So, there must be a BGA in here somewhere. I just don't know where. I know it ain't up on that hill. This over here is bio oil or something. It's for canola. That's a drop-off place. That's a sell point. That's just a gas station. This is where you sell critters, meaning animal market. Those are just more fields. There's a silage bunker there, but you don't sell it there, you make it there. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, drop off the wool. That's the spinnery. We're getting a little map tour out of this while we're at it. I helped test this thing, but I just don't remember where a lot of these things were. This looks like a place to take milk, maybe, for the dairy. Well, I guess I really don't know. This now is kind of on the main farm. And of course, you can make silage, but it's going to be for animal feed. Maybe it just doesn't have a BGA. That's an area for placeables. So I suppose that's one way to keep a person from making a lot of money at it is just don't put it in the map. So yeah, I'm not seeing it. Interesting. Well, we'll shut that down. We at least looked at something over there. But it sure isn't a BGA. Oh, and this guy's... Doesn't that look like enough space that he could back up? I guess he just can't. Must be something in the programming of course play that keeps him from moving. And there's something that makes Auto Combine hesitate on a square corner. He'll dip in a little bit and then back up or realize he's off, and then he'll take back off again. So I don't know if it's something in the script or if it's something just on the Combine itself that maybe isn't set up just right. Hard to say. But I do like that Combine. It's little, but it's hillside. Maybe that'd be a good mod to make sometime, where if you have slope where you're harvesting and you don't have your machine level, that you would be penalized in the harvest. Unless, maybe if the player slowed the machine down. I mean, I know that's kind of what we did on the farm. Sometimes there were angles the hillside feature on the Combine didn't help. You know, like if you were going uphill or downhill. Oh, you must be full. Close? Maybe? So when you were pointed downhill, well, sometimes that meant you took the whole field in with you because the machine couldn't hardly kick it out the back on some of those older machines. Or if you were going uphill, sometimes you sent all the good seed out the back. You know, I remember doing that a few times. It was particularly steep. No matter how slow I drove, it was at such a slope that most of it just kind of passed out the back, and very little came into, you know, the clean seed tank. Yeah, just something you deal with on slopes, but that might make a decent mod, unless you have a machine like this that keeps you level. But I think, as I've described on here in a number of places, I've tried to work on that little combine so it's a little more realistic in terms of how much it levels, because there are limits and all that. Gotta fix the dirt. There's a friend of mine that has some suggestions on the dirt, so maybe one of these days I'll try to fix it. Whoop, stuck in the tree. All I know is it needs a bath. Oh, and I got this to take care of. Maybe I need to finish a job over here. This is a steep hill in its own right. Oops, see if I can't drive straight when I go off to the side. Down these hills, I need to do it the way west does it. Coming in cab. God, I just like being able to see the scenery too much. Although one of my friends said being out of cab with too much swinging around, I forget how he put it. He said it messed with his vertigo or gave him vertigo. I'm not even sure what all that is. Maybe dizziness. Don't want to do that to people. I know it doesn't make me dizzy. Oh, there's that little sheep. Yeah, I think I figured out in the last video you have to be on foot for the little guy to come find you. I almost think the save game must record kind of where he was at. But if all you do is tab from one vehicle to another, he's never going to locate you. That's that trusty sheep mod, where I guess he wants to be by you all the time. Alright, let's see here. Is this the right way to do this? I don't know. Oops. Well, I don't know why that raised up. Yeah, doing it on an angle here isn't the best with existing windrows. But it is what it is. You know, I'm just looking up there at my glance statistics, and it is telling me my combine is not moving. Let's go check that out. Oh yes, there is a a disagreement. Maybe that's enough out of his way. This one here gotta go way up here to come back the other way. So this GPS is a handy little mod to have. You know, in some ways I think of GPS as kind of killing the fun of farming, you know, when it comes to real life, where it was a matter of pride, you know, if you're cultivating a field or something, and or plowing, and just how straight, you know, is your furrow, or you know, or it could be mowing, well, whatever it is across the field. It's everybody sees it when they drive by, and it's kind of a mark of how good a job the farmer did in driving his equipment. And well, GPS kind of throws that all out the window with some computer figuring it out. And in real life, the GPS is so, not only does it just tell you where and how to drive, it'll do the literal driving for you, except maybe turning around kind of at the end of the row. Although I'm sure that technology's coming. It's kind of spooky. You can look it up and see tractors that drive themselves, that are basically robots, have no driver in them, although I think there is space for a driver if one chooses, or you can get that option. But in the game here, the GPS is pretty handy, especially for this. I mean, it makes your work in here, if you want to call it work, a little more efficient, so you're not overlapping any more than you absolutely have to. But I particularly like it for the windrows here, because it makes it a lot easier coming in with a baler to have a straight windrow. You know, the baler only picks up a certain distance. The baler equipment in the game that is. You know, in real life, a baler, a lot of times they can put all kinds of modifications on it to grab the windrow. And real life straw or hay, it's pretty fluffy and it grabs its neighboring stalks. So if you get a wad of it, you don't just grab the wad, it pulls in everything the wad is kind of touching or attached to, if you will. And so you can even have a windrow that you're pulling into a baler that is wider than the opening of the baler, and a lot of times it'll pull all that in regardless because everything's attached. But in the game here, that isn't how it works. You know, if it's slightly outside of the little rectangle that is on the baler, that it knows, hey, here's where I take in the straw and I remove it from the ground and put it in the baler. If you don't have it precisely in that little rectangle, it leaves it, you know, on the ground. So you got to come back, and it's maybe my own OCD, but I like picking up every piece of it. So I don't like leaving any of it around. So what's really helpful to me is to have a nice straight windrow where it just puts all of it down, and I don't have to think too hard when I'm running the baler. If I just stay on the middle of the windrow, odds are it's gonna pull all of it in and turn it into a bale, and I won't have to go over it again. Can't say the same for the rounds on the outside edges. You know, I may miss some of that, you know, when I eventually come through here with the baler. Let's go check out our combine, make sure he's behaving. Well, here's he is. Like I need to go empty him. Maybe this will fill me up and I can go up and get a little bit more money. Well, it's capping my speed though. I'm really curious just what is causing this. There must be something I pressed that is clamping my speed down. Aha, got it. It's hard for me to believe just how quickly 30 minutes goes by, but I think I'm gonna terminate the episode there. Thank you everybody for watching, and hope you have a good night. Bye-bye now.